Look closely at the fracture surface. You can clearly see the beach marks right here.
Yes, and the wear patterns on the adjacent tooth confirm the resonance issue.
A 32-megawatt gas turbine is a massive piece of industrial machinery spinning at incredible speeds to generate electricity for an entire power plant. To protect an asset like this, the operating company held an industrial all-risk insurance policy worth 701 crore rupees. On July 25, 2009, engineers powered down the turbine. It was time for a scheduled, routine maintenance overhaul. When they opened the massive load gearbox, they found a serious problem. Out of the 70 heavy metal teeth on the gear speed shaft, exactly one was completely fractured and sheared off at the base. Fixing this required heavy engineering. The estimated cost to repair and replace the damaged equipment came in at 2.68 crore rupees. The power company immediately filed a claim with their current insurer, Cholamandalam MS General Insurance. Their logic was straightforward. They discovered the broken tooth while the policy was active, so the insurer should cover the repair. Cholamandalam rejected the claim entirely. They pointed out that finding a broken part on a specific day does not prove the part actually broke on that day. The real question was, when exactly did the metal snap? In the world of high-stakes industrial insurance, the date you notice a damaged part does not automatically force your current insurer to foot the bill. You have to prove the damage actually occurred while they were covering you. The power company argued that their new insurance policy began on April 1st, and they found the damage on July 25th. That placed the discovery squarely inside their active coverage window of 116 days. The insurance surveyor started looking at the machine's entire history. This specific gas turbine had been running for 16 years, racking up a massive 145,871 hours of total operation. This chart shows the turbine's 145,871 hours of operation. That tiny fraction represents the 116 days covered by the new policy, just 3% of its working life. The manufacturer required an inspection every 48,000 hours, but engineers pushed the machine, letting it run over 52,000 hours. Because of that delay, the vast majority of the time the machine was running, and the most likely window for the initial damage to occur, happened while the plant was covered by a completely different company, New India Assurance. It is mathematically and statistically improbable to attribute a massive mechanical failure to a tiny 3% window of time, simply because that happened to be the day the engineers finally looked inside the casing. To figure out the exact mechanics of the break, the Electricity Research Development Agency, or ERDA, conducted a metallurgical forensic analysis. ERDA is an independent testing laboratory that analyzes mercurial failures and electrical components. The forensic report identified a specific environmental cause. External fluctuations in the local power grid created constant, severe mismatches between the input power and the output load the gear had to carry. This mismatch subjected the gearbox to cyclic loading. Cyclic loading is the repeated, rhythmic application of stress placed on a piece of metal over thousands of hours of continuous operation. This diagram shows a cross-section of the gear tooth. The stress of that cyclic loading caused crack nucleation, which is the formation of a microscopic, invisible flaw right at the root of the tooth. Over a vast period of time, as the turbine kept spinning, that microscopic crack slowly widened. Eventually, the remaining intact metal became too weak to sustain the heavy loads, resulting in a final, sudden fracture. The forensic science proved that what looked like an instantaneous accident to the naked eye was actually a classic case of long-term metal fatigue and progressive failure. The dispute eventually went to the National Consumer Disputes Commission. The power company made one final legal argument. They insisted that the date of discovery must legally be considered the date of loss. The commission rejected this argument. They established that the burden of proof rests entirely on the policyholder. The insured party has to prove that the actual physical damage happened during the specific dates the policy was active. The court's reasoning hinged on the concept of moral hazard. Moral hazard is a situation where one party is incentivized to take risks because another party bears the financial cost. If companies could claim years of unseen accumulated damage on a brand new policy, the entire insurance system would become financially unsustainable. The court strictly enforced the contract's wear and tear exclusion clause. A 16-year-old machine is naturally subject to aging and metal fatigue over time. Ultimately, the commission ruled entirely in favor of the insurance company. The 2.68 crore rupee claim was officially denied. Industrial insurance contracts are specifically written to protect against sudden, fortuitous accidents within a strict timeframe. They do not act as a warranty against the inevitable aging, wear, and exhaustion of heavy machinery.
Zuber & Company, fire forensic experts and forensic engineers. Seeking answers from ashes. Seeking answers.